Hey everybody, Shawn Tubbs here. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Anasounds Utopia analog delay. It sounds great. It does kind of all that old, just kind of vintage, warm tape delay type goodness. Let's get right into the controls. Now there's some stuff in the inside the pedal as well, but let's just look at the top really quick. So your bottom left potentiometer, that's your mix to dry control. Right in the middle there is your repeats, so that's going to be your number of repeats all the way into a really nice oscillation. And then of course you have your delay time control up top on the right. Now you can set this at the minimum to go all the way up to about 400 milliseconds. At the maximum, if you throw an internal switch, that'll get you 600 milliseconds. There is a toggle switch on the right there. That's your modulation switch, so you can have your delays be modulated if you'd like. Now those can be adjusted via internal switching. If you open up the box, there's some goodies in there that you can tweak on. There's two mini potentiometers. Those are going to allow you to adjust the rate and the depth of the pedal. Now the stock settings, the rate was all the way off and the depth was fairly subtle, and that's where I left it for the performance song, but in the actual demo I turned all that stuff up a little bit so you could hear some more of it. There's also a tone control. Now that tone control, when it's all the way to the left, that's going to keep your delays sounding pretty vintage and kind of taped. They're going to have all those kind of oscillations and anomalies in them. As you turn it clockwise to the right, it's going to start dialing that stuff out, and it'll make the delay a little bit cleaner, maybe a little bit kind of colder sounding. Now in that case, I left it at the stock setting, which was the fully kind of tape setting, because I just felt like that was magical with this pedal. But of course, if you want to dial a little bit of that out, you can. And there's also a little internal potentiometer in there that allows you to adjust the brightness of the actual LED light, which is kind of cool. And as I mentioned, there is a switch in there that's going to allow you to choose 400 milliseconds or 600 millisecond delays. And then of course on top you've got your bypass switch. So without further ado, let's get into checking out this Anasounds Utopia analog delay. Okay, let's check out this delay. I'm going to use my Suhr Classic Pro Strat into my Suhr Bella amp. Here's just the guitar into the amp. And here is the Utopia. So what you're hearing there is basically what I did to get my my dotted eighth setting. Right now it's set in the lower internal switch setting, which is at the 400 millisecond setting. You can move it to 600 if you'd like. Just while we've got it set here, let's turn up the mix a little bit and I'll let you guys hear the mod switch. That sounds really nice. I've got it turned up just a little bit from stock. In the internal potentiometers, you can adjust the rate and the depth. So I turned the rate up just a little bit, and I turned the depth up just a little bit more. Now you can get it really exaggerated, almost to the point where it sounds like almost like a univibe type of chorus. But I like where it's set there. Now in the original demo, the performance, I left all the stock settings. So essentially the rate was off. It was a very slow rate and kind of a minimal depth. The tone was also all the way off. Now, when it's all the way off, you're getting the most kind of tape saturated anomalies from the delay itself. And I've actually left that where it is for this demo. As you start turning that up, it just makes the delay cleaner. So if you're wanting less of the tape sound, you can certainly achieve that. But I think with this delay, I think that's what makes it magical. So we're hearing the mod sound right now. So what I wanted to do is just kind of show you how I arrived at some of those sounds for the performance. So that was the first thing you heard. The next thing you heard was basically just me doing harmonics. And I left that tempo at exactly the same setting. I turned the mix up and I kept quite a few repeats. And I left the modulation on. So it was kind of this type vibe. And as you can see and hear, it modulates really nicely, or I shouldn't say modulates, but it oscillates really nicely. It's very controllable. So that's kind of how I got that sound. Now, another sound that you were hearing was kind of volume swells, and it was basically the same setting, but I actually had the mod off, and I didn't have the delay so much in time. I just kind of left it more to just do whatever it wants because it would be volume swells and it wouldn't be so specific. So here's how I kind of got that going. So works really great for that kind of stuff. Now another setting I did was kind of a reverberated style setting. I left the mod switch on and it kind of gave me kind of a springy type of kind of reverb thing. Turn up the mix a little bit so you can hear. I had kind of a faster delay. A little bit more kind of repeats on there. I left the mod on. And what I was going for is I just really wanted to be able to achieve all of these textures and sounds with this one analog delay, and I had zero problems doing it. Now the other thing I went for was a solo tone, kind of a Dave Gilmour style, and I think I actually left the mod switch on. And in that case, I just went for more repeats and just kind of kept adjusting the mix until it sat well in the track. Now in this case, instead of, and it's a trick I always kind of tell people to try, is before you turn up the mix, turn up the repeats and see if you get enough ambience on your solo tone. that's kind of how I used it. Obviously, if you want to go more subtle and do more of the slapback thing, I shouldn't say, well, I guess it is kind of a slapback, kind of single repeat. This delay sounds really great for just kind of fattening up your solo tone. But even there, if you just wanted more ambience, I would turn up the repeats first. And then maybe some more mix. So yeah, I had no problem just getting all kinds of different sounds out of this pedal. It's extremely versatile. It's got all of that warm kind of vintage tape vibe to it. Really easy to dial. That's the Anasounds Utopia. If you've got any questions, go to the website and check it out. And as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you next time.